In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the key takeaways that I got from reading Alex Hormozi's $100 million Leads. Now, obviously, there's so many good takeaways in this book that I could probably dedicate an entire year of just studying it and barely scratch the surface. But out of all of the chapters that I was able to read, I would probably say chapter 8, Cold Outreach, is probably the most intuitive chapter for me, and I think it really warrants us to take a deeper dive, because essentially right now, if you go to his book, and if you haven't heard of him, you definitely should read it, especially for anybody that's trying to sell anything online, is that how to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. That pretty much, that one chapter sums up kind of, the secondary title of the book of, we're trying to figure out how to solve this problem of how to get people that we don't know, that don't know us, don't trust us, may not even need what it is that we have to offer. How do we go out there and identify those people? So how do we identify them? What is it that we have to say? What is it that we have to offer to even get them on the phone? And ultimately, how do we convert that into income? Let's go ahead and start off. My biggest takeaways. First things first is building a targeted list of leads on a spreadsheet that you can go out there and aggressively just attack. Secondly is actually wowing your customers and establishing trust in less than 30 seconds. Number 3, scale your cold outreach with volume. Step 4, creating a schedule for cold outreach. And then ultimately, I think the biggest takeaway of all is having fun, which I'll cover at the very end. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, disclaimer. If you haven't watched my video, No BS 6-Step Guide to Landing Your First Chatbot Client, you probably should go ahead and actually watch this video first. It's on my YouTube channel for Boss Foundry. But the reason why I'm basically saying that is, regardless of what type of freelance or AI automation service that you want to go ahead and offer, going through the experience of actually knowing how to deliver at the very baseline level a minimal viable product, an MVP, is very important. You don't have to have something fully finished, because that's going down perfectionism and it's never going to be fully finished. But the fact that you've actually went through the process through and through, it's going to give you that much more confidence in talking to your customer about what the process is, for one. Number 2, it'll give you an indication of how much time that you need to spend on a certain task. Number 3, it would also offer you something to demo to your client or potential client when you're on the call with them. So before you go ahead and do this, I would actually have that MVP done first. And I think the easiest way is, whether it's a chatbot, whether it's a roadmap, regardless of what freelance offering you are providing, the most important thing is actually having something tangible that you can demo, because it's going to make it so much easier when your lead that you're talking to. Somebody recently asked me, how do I get them to see the value? By showing them the value. If you're telling me pay me first and then delivering the value, you're kind of coming in late. If you're actually showing them the value up front, then it makes a lot more sense for them. And starting off your pricing tier lower and then working your way up and in, also another tip. But let's talk about the first key takeaway that I had from was building a targeted list of leads. And the 3 ways that you can go ahead and do that is actually utilizing software to scrape those names up, paying brokers to assemble those leads for you, or you scrape for those leads manually. And he also gave a really good tip, which is the highest concentration of the people that you want to go ahead and talk to are already on groups and online communities, such as Facebook groups or like Reddit forums. They are people that are, they've bound it up together and they're trying to solve one main problem and they're trying to figure out that solution. And that's why they're there. They're part of that online community, right? So once you have that list, build that list as big and as long as possible, because at the end of the day, cold outreach is a numbers game, and that means volume. The second thing is, now that you know who it is that you want to go after, we got to go ahead and impress these people. So what the hell do we say to these people to give them to even give us a phone call, to even give us a shot? Well, there's got to be something to make them even want to contact us. And it's hard, because strangers aren't going to give you that much time to prove your worth. They're going to require a lot more incentives. So you know what you do? Instead of throwing out this, I really love this idea that he had in there, saying, instead of thinking about a lead magnet, like how do you go ahead and attract them in, which is, the cover of his book is this gigantic lead magnet with the Z. go ahead and demonstrate what he likes to call big, fast value. A free offering your customer would buy. Okay, give them something for free that they would actually buy. So let's shift the idea of lead magnet to big, fast value, right? Like a consultation or a free call, that's just code for give me a sales appointment so I can sell you something. If you provide as much free service up front as possible, you're going to 3x your take rate. You're going to go ahead and that's what happened for him. And I can tell you that's also what happened for me as well. Giving them something for free that they can actually go ahead and use, that they can actually take and run with, that's actually going to be something that's so much more useful for them. Now, he also goes on to say this. You can grab trust by personalizing, but you can also go ahead and scale up your outreach by going more like just throwing out more numbers on there. So my key takeaway from this is hey, if you have less leads, less automation, more personalization. If you have more leads, more automation. But ultimately, it's a numbers game. I've worked in sales a long time in the recruiting world before I became a career coach, and then ultimately showing product managers and tech professionals right now how to freelance. I'm going to tell you this. Everybody loves, the first thing that people think about when they see somebody achieving success is, what did you do? What was it that you said? What was in your message? And they're thinking that there's some kind of silver bullet. And I can tell you this, even when I was a recruiter and I was doing a lot of cold outreach, it was just by random numbers that somebody just said yes. So you got to just go out there and just dump out as much volume as possible. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, then warm networking, which is what I talk a lot about in terms of hey, working your personal network and doing upfront work for them for free, showing them the value and then building on from there, that'd be great. But for some of you guys are telling me you guys don't have a warm network, or you've exhausted your warm network and you're ready to go beyond that, then you got to automate your message to as many people as possible. But I would say the biggest and the final takeaway, and the third thing I've learned here, is follow up more times in more ways. Here's the thing. People think that just because they contacted somebody one time, that 100% of the time people are actually going to go ahead and actually review what it is that they've had to say. That's not true. You got to go out there and keep on contacting these people as many times as is required, and in as many ways as it's required. Contact them on different types of platforms. Contact them multiple times of the day. Contact them until they basically say no. Contact them like you're actually trying to get a hold of these people. So those are the, I would say, the big three takeaways that I got initially. But here's the fourth and the fifth takeaway that I personally took away from reading chapter 8. Number one is creating a schedule. All of this stuff works, but if you don't have a plan to go ahead and incorporate and implement this is not going to go ahead and work for you, because you're not taking any action. A week goes by and it's just this is not working. Well, how many people did you talk to? If you're not tracking your data, whether you're doing warm outreach or cold outreach, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're not tracking your data and continually generating that pipeline, the very definition of a side hustle is you're hustling on the side outside the 9 to 5. This is never going to happen for you. The other thing here is have fun. What I've noticed is that there is so much humor and comedy in the way that he writes. And I don't know, was this done for a specific reason to go ahead and entertain the user, or this was actually what it was like during the heat of battle where they had to go out there and make life interesting. But I get a lot of I feel that even in a very high stress situation, him and his team found a way to go ahead and make it fun. Anything that you do, if it's not enjoyable, you're most likely going to avoid doing it. So the more enjoyable that you can make it for yourself, the more you're going to want to do it, and the more that you're doing anything, the better you're going to be, you're going to be getting at that whatever thing that you're doing. So go out there, take action, have fun, and don't procrastinate on it. As always, if you need my help and you think I can help you, my LinkedIn handle is in the YouTube description. But the three things that's stopping most people from being able to achieve success in anything in life is, number one, procrastination, which if you had a clear schedule, you'd be able to get rid of it. The second thing I would say is perfection. And then the third thing is analysis paralysis. If you ever read the book Prospecting by Jeff Blount, he calls it the 3 Ps of pretty much stopping you from achieving success: procrastination, perfectionism, and analysis paralysis. Don't fall into those 3 things, because this week's going to go by regardless, the month's going to go by regardless, and you're going to get nothing done. Here's the final takeaway, okay? Have your chatbot demos ready, or have your whatever, or I would say product demos ready to go. Learn, like, actually whatever it is that you're selling, and it could be anything between that, or it can honestly be something like Airtable. Whatever it is that you need to get ready, like whatever it is that you're selling, like have that thing ready to go. You know, create a schedule to go out there and take action, track your progress, and start ASAP. Because this graph right here of the 2023 layoffs, we have right now like about 178,000 people that got laid off this year. Our industry, ladies and gentlemen, is under attack, you know, and if you don't start a side hustle, I mean, this isn't like if you're going to start a side hustle, it's when. So take the action however it is that you can take it, automate as much as possible, and get started as soon as possible as well. Until next time, my name is Rich with Boss Foundry. I'll talk to you all very, very soon. If you found any value in this video at all, please don't forget to subscribe. I'll talk to you later.